says, in American history before the Civil War, it was a doctrine held chiefly by the opponents of the abolitionists that people live in a territory should be free of federal interference in determining domestic policy, especially with respect to slavery.
So it's really states' rights.
I guess I would be more comfortable with using states' rights as opposed to popular sovereignty.
I don't think they're the same thing. The states themselves don't have the power to change or to do things.
To do things, what do you mean?
I mean, the people of the states, I guess, kind of do. It's not necessarily through the states that are going to make a law or make a principle that determine how it's in. I guess for me, it's still the fact that like, unless there's something missing, I don't know, maybe there is. So I kind of asking the question in case there's something that's missing about is there anything that can't be changed? Because if we were reading Section 1, Article 2 earlier of the way the Constitution actually is there, it talks about 3/5 of people and free people. And so when you amend that, it's actually literally amending that portion of the Constitution. So if you can amend the Constitution that way with enough people voting for it, is there anything that's not at? And if we can change it just through votes and everything's open, then the only reason why it's not being changed entirely is because no one's voting it up and nobody's voting for it. So there still is a popular sovereignty that it stays the same because nothing is held up around being able to be changed. And that doesn't just come down to the states, that would come down to the people who are elected to fill that nationwide, the federal office, and not just the state level office.
Let me make all these yellows and keep that in green for now.
Yes, I would prefer that.
Okay. I'm good with that.
It's an interesting study. Annenberg Classroom, for anyone wants to look at it, and gives a breakdown of where popular sovereignty falls within the documents that we're talking about. So popular sovereignty was asserted as a founding principle of the United States of America. Declaration of Independence of 1776 asserts that the legitimate governments are those deriving their just powers from the consent of the government. Later in 1787, the framers of the U.S. Constitution proclaimed popular sovereignty in the document's preamble, "We the people of the United States." Popular sovereignty was also expressed in Article 7 of the Constitution, which requires that 9 states approve the proposed framework of government before it becomes the supreme law of the land. The people of the several American states choose representatives to ratify the conventions who freely decide to approve the Constitution in the name of those who elect them. Article 5, to amend it, also requires elected representatives.
Popular sovereignty may have its difficult is that you could have a discussion on whether it's popularly sovereign. It's not a direct. We don't actually vote. That it would be. You have other people who are elected voting and making decisions, so you don't necessarily have as much direct. Like if they're amending the Constitution, they're not asking for a vote of the entire country. You have the representatives of those places that are changing. So it's not necessarily a direct democratic response.
This page is written by a guy I know. It's like, oh, this is really good. Actually, he used to be a professor at Indiana University. He's retired, John Patrick. He's like, oh, this is really good stuff. Oh, this sounds fun.
Where did you get it?
It's on AnnenbergClassroom.org. ANNENBERG classroom.org. And he also points out how it's such a dominant principle that even non-democratic countries like People's Republic of China try to say that they do it, try to get legitimacy.
How'd you know he wrote it?
At the very bottom. That's the thing I was reading all the way down, and at the end it says by John Patrick, Understanding Democracy at Pocket Gallery by Oxford University Press. It's like, oh, that's John.
Okay, so how do we scaffold those down like we did with... Sorry. And should this actually be, this is the end of 4th grade.
Right.
So should this be a 4th grade like this?
That's 5th grade.
Sorry.
Right. He's saying should it
look like this one, and then 5th grade be like that one.
I would like that.
It makes sense to me. And what I love about it is it's pushing people toward using the text of the document, not just teaching about it, but actually having them do some with the text. How much I just like Google.
Is it worth working offline so it doesn't glitch on you so much? There's so much lag.
I think they have to go back. This at least saves it continuum. That's what I like about it.
Okay.
Okay.
You need to put U.S. Constitution. So it's means you could keep.
I think we did.
Put that in the wrong link, didn't I? Maybe not. Maybe so. So how do we see, this is the one that we thought maybe these were scaffolds of that.
Right.
So do we want to talk through those? So is this one in multiple contexts? Right.
Does that one become part of second grade?
This one?
It's part of the way to put into context that concept.
Right. Possibly so. What's wrong? That would fit in the where cities and stuff come in. Well, second grade's really more regional.
Patrick, I would think that in kindergarten, they identify why laws and rules are made, kind of fits what your discussion was earlier. That seems appropriate. We could talk about your family and your classroom, your school.
Actually, of those, the one that seemed to me that I'm still not sure, I get the concept of the majority rule. It just seems kind of a strange one. It's all of a sudden just kind of there. So I guess just there. And what we're talking about, it just seems kind of a strange place, I guess, for some reason. I don't know why. Why it seems strange to me, it just kind of does, right? It seems like one
It's the
small
verbs, it's
piece.
the verbs that because it's like yes, no questions.
Right.
Identify why rules and laws are to keep people safe. It's just like,
It just seems awful procedural all of a sudden, as opposed to the others are why these things are there, and bigger, there's more of that, and then all of a sudden it's what's majority rule, and how long is it?
Right. Yeah, that one seems more like it kind of, well, it's explained on the slide, so.
I just don't know why majority rule of all the stuff that's in here, potentially why majority rule got moved to the point where it needed its own standard.
it should be explain the causes and consequences of majority rule.
I was wondering if there
Or
was
the causes and consequences.
There's
of using
somewhere.
that.
Somewhere in these, wasn't there something about conflict between people and how people overcome
Maybe that's the
conflict?
relationship.
Was there another standard
Yeah.
somewhere?
Yeah, that's in
In this?
government, I think.
Right here.
It's in government.
I'm just wondering if,
Oh,
Dispute resolution, we did it
Our peaceful, yeah.
5 down there.
I'm just wondering if that's not where that, like those two things don't kind of go together.
Well, it's just that when we're, the principles of the Constitution, majority rule is one of them.
Or I'm just wondering if that's why it got put in there, was because it fits also, it's one of those that also fits with that. So I think, because if you're gonna talk about how people overcome disputes, there might be times where we just say, okay, we've heard enough, we've heard enough, let's bring this to a vote.
Even crazier is it was actually in this, the part of the Declaration of Independence. Earlier, when we moved it down here. The interesting part, I know you guys tell me how it plays out in the classroom, when I talk to the teacher candidates about the standards that they currently are, and we come up with that one, I say, okay, so how do you teach this? They go immediately to voting. I said, no, you're teaching them how to vote. They're not explaining what majority rule is. You know, those are different things. You're just going straight to voting. Instead of understanding why would you want to have a majority rule? What is the purpose of it? What's the ideas behind it? Versus some other decision making, because it's really a decision making device, right?
Well,
It's a way of decision making.
depends. I mean, there's also different power structures that come with being a majority. You're looking at just from a simple congressional bill, from a congressional point, the Speaker of the House is representative of the majority of the House. So there's different.
But they don't always vote with them. So.
Right, that's with the majority, with being in the majority comes certain things.
But I mean, ultimately, when you talk about majority rule, you're talking about how do you make a decision? And I think that's why you have common good before that.
Right, I think so too, because you need to understand the common good before you just start working on the majority rule.
I mean, I think that's the way it's laid out. I don't know if that's what we want to keep it. I'm just trying to figure out what they are.
I can see the rationale of it.
Yeah.
Looks like to me they were working up to the 5th grade, whatever. And we, like we talked earlier about the skills or the concepts before you actually use it in a bigger format, actually look at the Constitution. And how does that apply to majority rule?
Yeah, because you've got laws and rules the first one, then power laws and rules for the common good, and then the next would be, I mean, they would insist that they would say, well, how do you determine the laws and rules for the common good?
And give examples of. Because to me, it's the disconnect and the relevance still. So why is it important for a second grader to understand the principle of majority rule?
Versus a
I mean, how is it helping to prepare them for research and analysis of the Constitution?
well, is the concept of majority rule important for us to look at 3rd grade, the Missouri Constitution?
You said it was mentioned 80 times.
Yes.
In the Missouri Constitution, I have no idea.
Maybe it should go with 3rd grade.
Huh?
Maybe it should go with 3rd grade. I mean, to me, what a great conversation of, why do you think majority rule is mentioned 80 times? What a discussion that is, and why you have to dig deeper into that document to really think about it.
To amend the Missouri Constitution, how do we do it? Is it a bill of just the people?
I think it's a simple.
But it's not the representative.
No, it's other people.
So like that can be part of the more decisions that are made by simply the vote of the people. Which is why it's not necessarily in the U.S. Constitution, because it's possible to have a majority of, you get a majority of Congress that votes for one thing, but still have a majority of the amount of the total number of people represented. Just like it's possible to lose a popular vote and the presidency.
Where did it talk about the Missouri Constitution? Periods.
Yeah, that would make sense now a little bit.
Right.
This is the part where the studio, I'm looking at actually okay, where I worry about the skills.
Talk to me more about what you're saying.
Well, because I think majority rule, and I think there's one we're just looking at zero out of an example.
Do you want that city wants blue, or do you want to highlight?
Yeah, we moved it over already.
Yeah.
Like develop a logical argument for when majority rule would not be the best decision-making process to use. I'm just thinking about the skills. I'm really not, I'm giving you an example. Not that I think it should be the example. I'm just saying it's where it kind of works a little bit. Because I think that's where you get to issues of civil rights. So what happens when the community feels this way and it's majority rule, but it violates civil rights? What do you do in instances like that? I think if you don't know that little fact, as I did not until today, that it's mentioned 8 times, you might not connect to those two.
Right.
As something you can do together.
These first three are really reiterations of each other, aren't they?
Yes.
They're all the same.
You kind of learn it in kindergarten and then you just keep saying it over and over
Over and over
again.
and over.
Right.
But it's in bold, so you're saying it a little louder.
Well, like you said, in some ways it's not a hard thing to teach.
So are you guys looking at some of these words, definitions, majority rule, as the way we interpret it today, or are we actually going to use what the founders who actually wrote the Constitution would constitute a majority rule as, or are they calling it as? Or limited government, any of those things, are we going to use our today's definitions to explain something that was written several hundred years ago? Or are we going to use their definitions?
I don't think you tell them either way. And so the good teacher, someone who's really into this, would say, let's look at majority rule over time. What's that look like throughout the time period of the Constitution? I think we did that above too, when we were saying about the time period being studied in the current event.
Right.
Because I think you made a very valid point. Majority rule, is it the majority of white male property owners, or is it majority rule of
Anyone over 18 who has a voter's registration card.
Right. And that certainly has changed over time.
Well, I guess it would be hard to, unless we're teaching them what the history is, it'd be hard for them to use it in multiple contexts. Because kids are just going to do what is right in front of them. They're not taught those historical things.
It may not have to be either or, it could be both and. So you may teach it to a second grader or a first grader in the context of the which makes sense that they have to use majority rule, how it impacts their own classrooms and decision-making classrooms and their family. Or, you know, maybe where you have little things we talk about, why you may use it in a classroom, why you may use it in a family. You know, just say, okay, we're trying to figure out who we're going on vacation, where we might want to go, so we're going to taking, you know, having a discussion about it, and how we're going to determine where we're going to go. Is it a joke our family's not a democracy, it's a little bit more of a dictatorship.
But as your kids get older, though, a little bit more of an anarchy too.
But so I don't know if you do it first and then as you get older, you can bring in some of these other aspects of the 4th, 5th grade as you start to talk more from a historical perspective. I do think it's hard for kids to understand. I think they get it in some ways, but I don't know. Maybe it seems abstract to me. Maybe I'm lowering my expectations on kids to really understand that from a kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade level of what, in terms of the concept of history, what this meant then versus now.
But I think, you know, I'm always saying this is standards, not curriculum. But when we get to thinking about the curriculum, these things aren't hopefully taught in isolation. And I mean, we even try to stress that some, so that when we're teaching about the founding of the United States, you know, when we talk about these documents, we're going to say within the context, hopefully it's going to be taught in the context of the history of what's going on, the revolution, etc. And, you know, we're going to say, you know, these people were voted in to be representatives of their colonies. Well, how are they voted in? Who got the vote at that time? So I think it would come up in that concept. But you would certainly want to connect it to today as well, because it's not the same. You got the vote during the colonial period who voted for representatives of the Constitutional Convention. That's only a small part of the people who vote now. I think it has to be close for it to be useful for the students in making sense of the world around them and preparing them for their own responsibilities as citizens, participation in their society.
Earlier when we had context, I'm wondering, since we moved, what if those things moved through kind of everything? So like if you were talking about common good, that we kind of laid out what's common good in your family, but it should be, I think, to really get to what it's preparing kids for, to analyze the text of the Constitution. You wouldn't isolate it just to what we've done as themes across the top, but it would be all of those things. So, you know, because I was looking to see, like when we talk about national symbols in 1st grade, so explain how and give examples of laws and rules. Explain how and give examples of laws and rules are made.
Well,
There's something.
that's the word we
But when I'm talking about common good, I'm talking about thinking about common good in our classroom, in our school, in our community, and in our nation. I'm that I'm going to talk about all of those different contexts for common good and for majority rule and for laws. We have laws and rules in the classroom, we have them in our school, we have them in our country, we have them, you know, that maybe it does. Because I think it often gets limited to the classroom, but it depends on the social studies resource you have sometimes too, and how that resource does. I don't know, but I think if we're trying to lay a foundation for 5th grade, I do think it has to be, I don't know, more than just learning the term as it applies in the classroom.
Well, let's try another way around it, and just play along with me for a minute. If we took that list of A through G, which of those do you think could be taught as a principle in kindergarten? And made relevant to family and school?
rule of law.
Right, rule of law.
All of them. Really? I mean, I don't know that, I think this is one of those places that's,
Checks and balances. I mean, given the time that you have in kindergarten for this, I think that's maybe why they went just to laws and rules.
I agree.
yeah, I don't know that I would talk about those, any of those in terms of the term. All of those things I think you could talk about, but related to the vocabulary term, I don't think it's relevant.
Right, so that's what I'm saying.
Relevant that all of those things come up multiple times in the school year, but you don't
Right.
attach those terms to it.
Right, so would that be a way to kind of scaffold it, is that we could look at the ones that would make sense within the that are best taught within the context of that year?
I thought that's kind of what they started.
I think that's what they started to do too, although they put it in another strand, or up above, but that's what I'm saying, maybe that's a way we could build up and scaffold up to where by the time they hit fourth grade, they've had an opportunity to interact with each one of these as a term within a certain context, or one or more of them. And scaffold up that way. Yes, no, Friday.
Well, okay, so what would I want kids to know about limited government in K1 and 2? I don't think I would. I mean, I'm not going to apply limited government to.
I think we need to wait on this discussion.
It's hard to talk about it without talking issues. I mean, because you would,
We're discussing A through G, and what of those things do we want? Do we feel like, are there things within there that we really feel need to be explained all the way down? Or is it, like that each of those, how important is it? I don't know if I'm putting this in the right wording, so somebody please help me out here. I'm trying to explain what we're talking about, but just kind of look at how important is it that a kindergarten understands what limited government is.
Or is that a concept that makes sense at another grade level, to introduce at another grade level in context so that they can make sense of it? Can we do it at kindergarten level, or should we wait until first or second or some whatever grade where we can teach it in context in a way that makes sense to them? So that's just kind of another way of trying to crack this nut to build up to fourth grade where then they have all of those at hand to put them in the context of history and this special document called the U.S. Constitution. So I think as Aaron and I were talking, I think that's what was trying to be done previously. They said, okay, at kindergarten, kindergartners can understand laws and rules. And in fact, that's what they're really doing. Probably they've been doing most of their lives in their home and places that they've been in. And now they're in school where there's maybe more rules than they're accustomed to, and special rules. And so it makes sense to try to teach those at that point. Because now maybe they're being introduced to new rules that they've never faced before, and it would be good for them to understand why we have rules. I mean, would anyone disagree with that at kindergarten? With what's there right now? The one that's there? And if everyone's okay with that, would we want to add anything more to it?
I think the thing I struggle with on that is we're trying to, I understand, yes, kids can understand why there's rules in school, why there's rules and all this and that. But to equate rules with laws at that age,
It's a
because
distinction.
to me, there's a difference in why we allow laws to be created, a difference in why there's rules at home.
So when I teach this teacher candidates, I say, okay, what's the difference? What are you trying to teach there? And, you know, if we're going to identify why we have laws and rules, then they have the same principle, that is typically safety and order and efficiency. Those are kind of the basics of both of those. That's not making a value judgment whether one's good or the other. And as I think about them, laws and rules have those numbers: safety, order, and efficiency. Sometimes, yeah. It's not necessarily safety. Sometimes, yeah, it's individual.
So would you say a law is a type of rule, or are you saying it different?
I'm saying they're different in the sense of who enacts them and what the penalties often are. Because laws are from the state. And
So would
So
it make sense?
if I'm as a principal or as a teacher in school, if I make a rule in my classroom, am I not acting as a word of the state?
you are, but does it have criminal prosecution to it?
Right, so there's a difference between
That's the
how it's
difference,
ordered and enforced.
Yeah, correct. But at the basis, it's for safety. We have laws and rules for safety. I mean, maybe I've missed some. We have them for order.
We don't have, well, I mean, not all our laws are for safety.
But I mean, if we're looking at safety between laws and rules, why would you enact them? Why would you have them? What's the purpose of them? One of the purposes that you have laws and rules. One of the purposes is safety. Now there are other ones, right? Other ones are for laws and rules. That I think of as like order. Efficiency.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that, you know, I'm just trying to understand when we're talking about the principles of the Republic of the United States and the Constitution, how that, what you're talking about equates to that.
Yeah, so we're building up to the rule of law. That the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And it establishes the rule of law.
That really won't be brought up until third grade, the
Right.
Constitution part. Over here, we're just building the foundation. So they understand what rules.
I'm just trying to understand the foundation we're building. It's not where I'm trying to grasp.
So are we saying the laws and rules? Is that what the rules and laws are the foundation, or that's the foundational purpose behind the Constitution?
One
Was to create laws and rules?
of the important principles is the way it's written over here is
See, I don't think, for me, I don't think the Constitution says, it's, you know, it talks about the importance of creating laws and rules. To me, it identifies how that can be done if that it is to be done. Like the way that those are, like the way a law is created, not that a law needs to be created, but how one would be created,
So like the procedure.
procedure.
And I think that currently falls under the government strength, the procedural part. And in this one, and this is where we keep bouncing back and forth, this one is like the whole principle, the philosophical principle that such things exist.
So, under civics with Connecticut, they do have, theirs is process of rules and laws, it's kind of a thing. So it's just a process of rules and laws that it explains, and it kind of fits with some of those other things, but, you know, and that's why I don't know, I'm not sure if we would say it's just the Constitution did was lay out processes for how laws may they have. But I would say even in setting it, they had to set some sort of a rule as to what those processes would look like, I guess. And I don't know that they put the structures as a rule that says this is how the structure, you can't use a different structure unless that rule is changed. I don't know if I'm even making any sense. But when you, we were just talking about hiring practices in schools and how we would hire and what we do. And so somewhere along the line, someone put in rules for the processes for how we're going to hire somebody else. And so it's not saying what we're going to do is which is going to end up ahead. Someone put rules in place for how that process was going to happen. So is the Constitution setting rules for how laws are then going to be made? And if you don't follow those rules, or you do something outside of those rules, or you go outside of that, that's the whole purpose of the final check and balance, is to say that's not constitutional for you to make a rule this way, or for that rule, so therefore it's not, we're not going to enforce it.
Isn't that one of the protections that we have?
Right, that's what I'm saying, is that a rule that they're saying if you don't follow our rules, that law that you now enacted cannot be given.
It gets more complicated. Those rules, those processes are based on principles. Even that are not the processes themselves. They're based on principles, such as the common good, right?
Well, that's what it lays out, that's the preamble.
Yeah.
Right, so it's saying in order to do this, we're putting these processes in place. We're creating this rule that's going to be to follow these processes in order to ensure these things.
And to ensure these principles live out in reality. Can you have a break?
I think I would look at it as identify and explain how rules function in public. And that may be, especially younger, how they start to make that leap from what's a rule in the house to a rule in public, and that difference between rule and law are not the same. It's kind of just the difference in that function like that. Compelling question is, how do rules help the community be a better place to live? So it would be better to take out the word how.
I think for me, we're starting by putting ourselves in a box rather than starting with the idea that we were put upon this earth with absolute freedom to do what we want. And instead, we're starting with the idea that we're all put in this box that, society in different places have placed upon us, which to me is the thing that our forefathers fought to get away from. So I'm not trying to be difficult, I'm just trying to think. I think out of the box of we're free, we choose to restrain ourselves, but unless you have the understanding that you're actually free, then this doesn't make sense of why you would choose to restrain
Would that
yourself.
somehow fit in with the kindergarten as to why rules and laws are made? Like, isn't that the initial, would that be the precursor to even saying why? That's saying, it's not saying we have to have, nobody's saying, they don't say we have to have laws and rules. Now, to me, it's a pretty deep conversation to have in kindergarten. But if we're never actually stating that, I think that would be discussions on why do we actually have to have rules in the first place, and it may be because we do have free will, we do have the ability to choose those things, so we have rules and laws for this other purpose. But so I think that it may fall in within that, and maybe instead of going backwards, maybe what we do is even just take that the other direction. And is there a way to continue that discussion to ensure that discussion as to why we have rules and laws in a family? Why might you have rules and laws in a community? Why might you have rules and laws in a state, like why do we have these things? And even asking that big question might be where, and I'm just kind of brainstorming, going the other direction, might lead to that conversation being something that's continually happening as to, okay, so we have this ritual, we aren't actually asking why. Why do we have a federal government? Why do we have a state government? Why do we have community rules? Why do we have school rules? Why do we have family rules? And just start the whole thing off with why. And initiate that conversation from there and have that be a part of the framework.
But isn't that what's there? It's identify why.
I would say it's in the first one, but yeah, and the rest of them I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good way to do it, because that gets you to the principle
Well, I
versus
guess
the practices.
my only thing, I mean, I understand what you're saying. The only thing that I have a real question of is, or in a real conflict with what you said was talking about the context of government, city, school, home, and I just can't get away from, at home, my job is to protect my children. That's part of my job, so I do set rules in place for that. My issue comes in when it's not the city's job or the state's job or the federal government's job to protect me. Like, that's not what their job is not to protect me. So that would not be a reason at all.
So what would you say the job is?
To stay out of my lane, to let me live free the way I was born, with liberty.
So how would they go about doing that?
They kind of did that. I mean, what do you mean?
I'm not sure, because I guess that's where I would say just, I do think that part of the reason why you have a government is to help do all the things that you say they're not doing. I think part of what it's there for was, like, as I look at it as a school, I feel like I'm a part of the government as a public school official.
Well, sure, it is government.
And so I would say my job, I'm not there purposely each day to limit freedom for children. What I would say is that part of what I'm trying to do is provide something to the students of which I'm serving as a public interest as part of the government. And giving them something that's for a benefit to them. So, I mean, we said that it's not the government's, usually the government's job is to get out of the way. I'm not sure how you'd have something in their term purpose is to get out of the way. I'm just not understanding that.
Well, let's see, how much time do we have before we're concluding for today?
But I think this is actually where it's found. I think that's where the issue keeps coming back to.
I was reading that on the Bill of Rights Institute, but the first, before it, the introduction to the section on the Bill of Rights says the First Amendment to the Constitution of the Bill of Rights, written by Madison in response to calls from several states for greater constitutional protection for individual liberties. The Bill of Rights lists specific prohibitions on governmental power, and the Virginia Declaration of Rights, written by Mason, strongly influenced Madison. But this next one, I think, is the exact discussion that we're having now, reflective of the same discussion they had then. One of the many points of contention between Federalists and anti-Federalists was the Constitution's lack of Bill of Rights that would place specific limits on governmental power. Federalists argued that the Constitution did not need a Bill of Rights because the people of the states kept any power to not give it to the federal government. Anti-Federalists held that the Bill of Rights was necessary to safeguard individual liberty. And I think that's kind of the crux of what we're, that, in my mind, had we as a government not protected individual rights, I probably could not vote right now, And so to me, there's some importance in, while I see the need to protect, while I see the need to be that kind of separate, the government doesn't have the power, the people have the power. I also see the need for the government to act on behalf of the common good. And I say the government as the people acting on behalf of the common good, which would include, for me, individual rights. And so I don't know how we get past, how do you, in a set of standards, when there are different perspectives, how do you say, okay, here's the crucial thing for kids to understand about these principles. When we probably disagree on principles and what they, so how do we get past that hump?
Right, and every teacher has a bend one way or the other.
Absolutely. How do you not?
Right, either they don't understand the issues, and so they teach whatever's written, or they do understand the issues and they're passionate one way or the other, and they try to be balanced, but it never comes out balanced. So I don't know that I like the wording of the kindergarten one. But what you're talking really is that balance between we have liberty, we're free, and yet we create laws and rules to craft and limit our ability to be free and exercise freely.
To protect, historically, to protect from something that was happening before. I mean, those laws came out, the Constitution came out of the want to not let this happen again here. That we were trying to create something different.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Constitution itself isn't, it's not an original document, it's taken from all sorts of other, it's put together from different documents of what they experienced through the generation, through the hundreds of years.
What are we rule on that? Can we talk about the symbols of our nation? Number 2.
Yes, let's go ahead and do that.
Identify the flag as a symbol of our nation and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Kindergarten. Principles of the Republic. Did we finish that one?
Did we do that one?
Yeah, we did.
Not that particular one. Though.
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, where are we in?
We put that in.
We did something.
We included some of this in the history.
Okay.
Are we not going to do this knowledge of the symbols of our nation then?
No, I think it should be here. We talked about it in other places. But we added down in history, how do you like when we get stuck on something, we just be AD, move something. If I can get to the history straight.
Yeah, so I remembered all of that.
Yes, this is the part we added. And we talked about songs in here somewhere.
That was in relationships. It was culture, wasn't it? No?
Maybe so. So was this on, was it strand 6? Strand 6 I should be looking for.
But what about principles of the Republic?
Well, that's what we have. So what we have for 6. No, that's 7. Okay. We call stories and songs that reflect cultural history in various regions of the United States. Research stories and songs that reflect the cultural history of Missouri, the United States.
Maybe it was just the chart.
Where do we keep the flag? That's all I want to know.
It's got to be up there.
It's on the chart. It's what?
Drive the best.
Okay.
We had this all the last time this morning.
That'll happen.
I think we just put it on the charts, talking we were going to put it up in symbols.
Okay.
So that's what we did. That's okay, that's D.
D.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do we add to that? What's missing? As far as people.
We don't have anything at landmarks. There are no landmarks there, are there? Well, that's Liberty Nation's capital.
I asked Michelle on the drive here, but when you think of U.S. symbols, what do you think of? And she said the bald eagle. That was the first one she said, and then she said the White House.
Yeah,
And
those
so
are
I
both
said,
missing
well, the
now.
White House is where the president lives, and the symbol. And she pointed out to me that yes, it was. In her mind.
In her mind.
Yeah, I thought, okay, so I thought, obviously those are things that.
There's something about a seat of power. It's just in the White
Yeah,
House.
it is, yeah.
Is a symbol of the presidency.
Right, that's exactly.
But the White House is the one you don't have to have the Capitol.
I think so, and the Supreme Court.
Which I think for first graders developmentally, when they see a picture of the White House and the Capitol, they look very similar. So they will interchange those things a lot if it gets developed just the developmental level. Only because we had a common assessment over social studies about 6 years ago where I had photographs and it was like, and
They
I can
should
tell
see
you
the
the
difference,
teachers
right.
are used to those things just as much as that's the White House where the president lives, and I'm like,
Really?
no, that's okay.
But, when we go back to that grade 4 standard and we're talking about separation of powers, it would be nice if we had symbols of the separation of powers. The nation's, the capital,
The graphic organizers that we have issues with.
the
Yeah.
White House, the
Right.
Capitol, and the Supreme Court, So it would be nice to have those in there to help teach that.
Well, you just tell me and I'll add it to it.
Just thinking out loud.
Do they have memorials or monuments? I mean, do we have those? Like
Yeah,
Washington,
memorials,
Washington,
monuments, landmarks.
Do we have them or are
I
they?
just wonder if that's in there. Is that something we want to look at? Like all of Mount Rushmore? Do we have?
Yeah, they're not in there.
Something that you look at with boards and, as you go to, how do we commemorate those historical time frames or events that we're talking about? How do we maintain that? How do we preserve history? That was my thing.
Right, and we tried to include it on those other ones.
I mean, the Lincoln now has a Lincoln Memorial. I don't just want to see the Lincoln Memorial. You actually want to see like a little inlay where the guy had to do a speech.
I didn't see that when I was there.
It's like inlaid into one of the steps. You can stand there and look over the whole wall from the same.
Well,
You
I
can
stood
take
there
your
and looked.
picture with your feet right there.
It's an interesting, when you stand there, there's something about it.
You see the
Standing there, and you
expanse.
see it, there's something about standing there.
I didn't even think about here's where you
Kind of like when you step on Rocky.
It's right. There's not like a sign with it or anything. You just have to walk past that place and kind of,
There's like literally just an inlaid plaque in the step.
Really? Obviously, we missed the car. We missed that.
Yeah, we don't
Right.
have to go back, yeah.
We did take a picture looking out. We did that kind of thing, but I have to apologize to my kids. I missed the teaching moment.
There's usually a cluster of people around it, like taking pictures.
That's probably what you didn't see.
No, you probably standing on
I'm like,
That'd be
these
something
people,
to be
please,
like that.
they're inhibiting my abilities.
Last time I was there, they actually built this monument, the Martin Luther King monument wasn't done yet. Building.
So if we did, so like at the state level, let's toy with the state level, because we always ignore it.
I did, I had down and regional symbols, I had things like license plates, just kind of back from vacation and talking with the kids about how a license plate is a reflective symbol of that state line.
Quarters. Every quarter it has a symbol from every of the states.
Oh, yeah, court.
Not the game.
I don't know. The license plate was a quarter of the license plate.
Listen, we had a huge debate writing summer school curriculum, because we were trying to look at there was a focus on Native Americans and kind of setting up that conversation. So who lived, what was Missouri before we decided it was Missouri that we live in today? But so we were looking at past and present Native American contributions. And so Wilma Mankiller came up, and it was really, there was such adamant no that we can't talk with fourth graders about a person whose name sounds like that, this Mankiller, and yet there were all these huge contributions. And then a week later came out this year that she was one of the finalists for the
$20
before they did. She's still living. Well, she's still living. So this was actually, was it the 10 or the 20? I think there's a conversation about a 20 and about a 10.
Well, there was, they said it was going to be the 10, but I don't know if they're going to change it, it should be the 20.
So it was very, so I said
Because
that,
Andrew Jackson is not seen as positively in American history as Alexander Hamilton. And Andrew Jackson was
this has been a
just a
huge
debate.
story.
Yeah. Because
They are changing.
Well, I knew they were changing.
And they're voting on it, you can submit all.
I never understood why. I mean, who gives a crap?
Well, it goes back to also telling more of the American history than just the white presidents.
Right, and again, I think that we
Male presidents, I should say.
We overdo
There should
everything.
be a place for women
But
also
nobody-
to be symbolized.
It was quite a debate over Wilma Mankiller, because what they were doing was we were going to award the peace medal.
Susan Davis.
Yeah, we got Susan B. Anthony Dollar.
Out of circulation now.
They have to look at all these people and determine if they were going to award the peace medal, that would be today's, what was the medal called back then? Or was it the peace medal and now it's something else? I can't, who would they award it to based on the evidence, kind of thing? And boy, she just, her name, nobody liked, that was too unfriendly for school. And so when the thing came out that she was one of the finalists, I sent the news article link out to the team. It was quite a discussion. Really proud of it.
I think it's a waste. Who cares is what I say. But, I probably don't give enough cultural heritage. I don't get home as much for that maybe. I think, who cares? What is done? Let's just move on and do something for you. But
I spent memorialize. And we're getting into Andrew Jackson and that he is like good people. And this is whole article.
Trail of Tears.
Yeah. Trail of Tears. And actually, I think, was it a duels or he actually may have like personally.
Yeah, right. And probably wasn't born in the United States.
and what?
Probably wasn't born in the United States.
Well, I go to his home occasionally. Got a great home.
Had it right now. Not sure if he still has.
It's a great place. It's a fun place to visit.
This could be a neat place, again, just talking, brainstorming a little bit. If we're going to link it to the historical periods of 4th and 5th grade to bring in some symbols of the United States that link with those historical periods, that would be significant.
Right. So I did recognize and explain the significance of the following Missouri symbols. What would those be in 3rd grade?
We put those up. Those were up in the other one.
Stand usual.
No, the Missouri symbols, because when you scrolled up earlier, I was looking at, we added those somewhere.
Where?
Are you sure? I think
Okay,
we
where
added
are we
people.
in right now?
I think we added people. I don't think we did symbols.
No, well, keep going. We did it in Missouri, because it had like the state.
Flag.
Keep going.
Where? Up this
Where,
way?
it was just up there a minute ago. So when you scrolled to look
Okay, when
earlier,
I went down.
was that relationships?
Maybe. Let's look and see. Okay, so that would have been either in
This is
history.
where the songs were.
Okay,
Whatever.
that's culture.
I'm pretty
Go down
sure
to 6.
we saw it there.
6, 6, 6, 6, 6. What is this?
Keep going.
Culture.
Next.
Here it is.
There, see, it says state symbols.
We're talking about preserve.
Oh, that was mine. Oh, yeah.
Oh, here, you made a lasting contribution, dear. Okay, so, but we just say state symbol.
Okay. right?
We don't-
So we don't articulate.
Where we should.
Nor what do they mean?
Right.
What's their significance?
Okay, so if we
So you're
go,
saying maybe we do that in this knowledge of the symbols of our nation?
At the state level, yeah. So like the Gateway Arch.
Would it sound strange if we're doing knowledge of symbols of our nation, having it there about your state?
It says our state. I think we.
I changed our state a while ago. I was gonna ask you all
Oh, the
this
state.
back then, we were talking about it before I forgot it. I was gonna ask, just so you know.
So you're adding state
Right.
without permission?
Yes, and I am sorry, I really am sorry.
He's doing it for
Sorry,
the common
what
good.
rule did you use?
Yes, I hated to interrupt the good thoughts that were going on, so I just threw it in there.
Oh, we're going till 5.
Are we going to 4 or 5?
I don't know, whatever you all.
It's
You
4,
said
it's
5?
4 or 3 already.
No, I didn't say it was 5, I was just, I hate to stop, but the other, we can
Well,
stop.
my
this
mom
later.
and daughter are
Yeah.
out there waiting. So
They're
I'm probably
waiting.
gonna see you here in a bit.
Oh yeah, you said 10 to 4.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yep. Hey, screw you on out here. As Cartman says. You guys.
All right, symbols. Gonna name a few?
Arch.
Can we get this box done-ish? Arch.
Gateway Arch.
Should we call it gateway?
Isn't it called, isn't that the official name?
I'm
Gateway Arch?
sure, I mean, I don't want to say Louis Century. We're saying, was that, did you guys consider Kansas City and other places in the state, do you consider this Gateway Arch a symbol of Missouri, or is it?
Jesus.
I'd say, yeah.
I mean, I would say it's a symbol of,
When
you
you
know,
Western
west,
expansion, all that.
expansion.
Ours,
We don't want to plan it.
everybody knows it's Missouri.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, it doesn't matter where you're at, nation, I would say.
What else?
The US capital is the
Oh yeah.
state capital?
Yeah, state capital.
But I don't know that, I mean, most capitals look very similar. And if you, like the silhouette, I think you have not necessarily a picture or capital. but
Would we say the flag of Missouri? The symbolism of the flag of Missouri?
I would say that as the capital.
Agreed.
State flag.
What about like the slogan, do you have anything where you put like a show me state, do we have like that, or is there something about a slogan or about a statement?
The state slogan.
What's that called? The slogan?
State slogan, I
Motto?
think. State motto. Well, are those different?
Oh, wait, I think that's.
Those are different, right?
Show me state is a slogan, or a motto.
No, I think that's a slogan.
I mean, there are official statements too.
I don't know. Find out what is the model.
I don't know what the motto is. I know in Iowa.
That's
But
what
I don't know what it is here.
I didn't grow up in Missouri, so as I think about
Same
what
here.
I say is Missouri, I would say the arch comes to my mind. I can picture the flag, and then the show me, those are the things that,
But I think that's more of a slogan. I don't think it's a motto. Because like in Ohio, it's in God we trust or something like that. It's from Ohio. Although it's the Buckeye State. So. And there are all these things are official. I know we teach them in 4th grade right now, right? Or fifth, yeah, 4th grade.
The state's still.
It's like the state animal, the state
Yeah.
tree, the state.
Insect, bird.
I can name most of those, but I don't know the motto.
Let the welfare of the people be the supreme law. That's the state motto.
There's the state motto.
Those populi supreme law.
Let the what?
I was doing my math there.
Let the welfare of the
It
people.
means, yeah, let the welfare of the people be the supreme law.
Common good.
Is there a way we could, instead of itemizing all those, that we could, like the official state?
it says the show me thing came from William Duncan Vandenberg. Wow, and he was in the House of Representatives. And while there, in a speech there, he declared, "I come from a state that raises corn and cotton burrs and Democrats. And frothy eloquence neither convinces nor satisfies me. I am from Missouri, you have got to show me.
When was that, what year?
It says 1899.
Tree, state flag.
Frothy eloquence.
Well, what did they call it? Is there something called the state?
What do they call it on the Secretary of State?
Yeah,
page?
what do they call it as a category? Instead of itemizing, having this huge long list of state animals, state, flower, state, are they all called something together, like the state symbols?
And we have a bunch.
And, yeah, because there's a ton of
The
them.
state, it just says.
State song,
On the Secretary of State's page, it says state symbols of Missouri.
state symbols. That's what I would put.
Yeah.
Instead of itemizing them all.
I mean, it says, that's what it says, and it says the state seal, the state animal, the state flag,
Right.
fossil, mineral, rock,
That's
tree.
like
I can
see
make those
everything.
I mean, they have a state animal and a state aquatic animal.
Yes, there is.
And then also a state fish.
Missouri does, yeah. Yeah, they do.
There's an aquatic animal, a fish, and an animal, and an insect. And a horse.
Please, what is the state insect?
There's a, they have a state, no, that's
No,
not,
that's a state. That's a state animal. No, the state insect.
There's also a bird, an insect.
I didn't know the insect.
The insect looks like a honeybee.
Oh.
John Ashcroft signed a bill designating the honeybee as Missouri's state insect.
Yeah, most states do. Ohio's is the ladybug.
But there's also a state fish, a state aquatic animal, and a state horse, and a state amphibian, and a state reptile, and a state invertebrate.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
There's an invertebrate, a reptile, a game bird, an amphibian, a horse, a state fish, an aquatic animal.
What's the state aquatic animal?
Actually, you know how-
Let's say that this was voted on.
Paddlefish.
But it's not
But
the
it's
state
not state
fish,
fish.
because the state fish, it looks like a catfish.
Yeah, it's a catfish.
So we needed to give props to the paddlefish, so we created the state aquatic animal.
Yeah, sometimes these things come about from class projects.
Yeah,
We also have a state.
they, how you learn it, you're influencing others,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, I know you've been on days with my mom, so I don't want to go over.
But I think what we do is just cluster all those under the state symbols and let the district decide which ones they want to highlight and why they're important.
Yeah.
Or 8 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, we do. Yes,
Have a
we
good
do.
evening, everyone.
Good night.
Yes, we do.
State dinosaur, what's that?
Yeah, I can't pronounce it.
I should just go look it up.
Yeah, it's
Something weird.
it's like a duck foot thing.
Yeah.
It says it's a type of dinosaur called a hadrosaur,
Yeah.
but it's Hypocyndemia missourianus.
So we're saying that instead of listing all those things out,
Okay.
we should probably list them as, like the Secretary of State does, the state symbols.
Instead of, but the gateway arch is not a state symbol.
No.
That's true.
So,
So you can say official state symbols.
okay.
Are we explaining the significance of them, or
Yeah.
just? And the main thing are official state symbols.
Right, yeah, which official ones they want to use.
Sure.
A
I
district
hope they
do.
go with aquatic.
With the what?
State
animal.
aquatic animal, rooting for the paddlefish.
Oh, the paddlefish.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Well, the
that's
state
a-
fish is the catfish.
Yes, I was thinking catfish.
And the state animal is the mule.
And you don't know the state insect?
What? Honey. See, I've learned lots today.
State tree is.
The dogwood.
State song.
The tree nut is the black walnut.
My farmer's love the black one. Yeah.
And we've lost Kathy.
Yes.
Because we reached 4 o'clock. I'm shutting this party
Shut it
down.
down now.
Shut it down for now.
Okay, I'm gonna just highlight
Highlight
this in yellow.